Welcome to Shabbos Shoutout. With the widespread availability of the vaccine, many of us are joyously getting together with our family and returning to shul. It's important to remember, though, that while things may be much better for us, our families, and our own communities, there are many places throughout the world that are still suffering from COVID-19. What mindset should we have at this time? On May 22nd, 1960, the country of Chile was struck by the most powerful earthquake ever recorded. The catastrophe left approximately 2 million people homeless and untold thousands injured and dead. During a Musar, an ethics address following the earthquake, Rabbi Levenstein, the head or dean of the Mirror Yeshiva in Jerusalem, reprimanded his students for failing to empathize with those who were lost and those who were suffering the devastating earthquake. Here's an excerpt from Rabbi Levenstein's address. It's astonishing that we see the severely difficult events in this world, yet we don't turn our hearts to this, and instead we go about our life as if nothing happened. This is an obvious result of our lack of emunah, trust in the Almighty. We think, the rabbi continued, everything is happenstance without divine providence. The earthquake, the rabbi said, has left thousands killed, injured, and homeless with no roof overhead, yet this has left no impression upon us. We remain apathetic to their terrible suffering. And the rabbi concluded, I don't see anyone talking about this. Why are we not thinking about the tremendous calamity that has befallen the residents of the impacted countries? I think it's worthwhile to share a few vignettes of other great people who demonstrated remarkable sensitivity over the pain and suffering of others. During World War II, the Rebbetzin of Rav Aaron Cutler didn't put sugar into her tea. As part of God's mercy, she and her husband escaped the Holocaust, but she knew what was going on in Europe. She wanted to identify with the suffering of her brethren, so for the entire period of the war, she didn't sweeten her tea. One might ask, what good does that do? Certainly it didn't in any way mitigate the suffering of the Jews in Europe, but at least the Rebbetzins' perspective was that every time she had a cup of tea, she was forced to think about what was happening to her brethren and sisters in Europe. Rav Moshe Eisenman said that his father-in-law, who was something of a classical music fan, didn't listen to music the entire period of World War II. This is how a person can identify with the pain of his brethren. To empathize with another, one must do something physical, which becomes part of his or her daily life. And finally, after the devastating tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004, Rav Victor Nevensohl, the former chief rabbi of the Old City of Jerusalem, who was nearly 70 years old at the time, packed his bags, intending to travel to the disaster site to personally participate in offering humanitarian aid. It was only with great effort that his family managed to dissuade him from undertaking the very strenuous trip. From these stories of great men and women, we learn that in our post-pandemic journey, our personal happiness should be accompanied by feeling the pain and empathizing with the past and current suffering of the rest of the world. Avram Avinu, our father Abraham, bequeathed to us the following legacy, as stated in the book of Genesis. For he commands his children and his household after him that they keep the ways of Hashem, acting with righteousness and justice. In the weeks and in the months ahead, let's travel forward with joy while carrying with us an awareness of the suffering of others. Good Shabbos.